and the drinks are on my mind. The decision sets in, one that will churn your skin. The lovers ride, let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. You thought I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I think it's absurd, but until then you'll leave your words. Well, lay on, lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, you say that you are innocent, but your ways, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, oh you have reached your lover's end. No more will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. 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 Just remember to fall deep with beauty. Never the one to believe in hostilities, but you still enforce the worst upon me, upon me. All you wanted was love, but that was never enough. No, never enough. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. Disregarding your name, your smell is all that remains. They say you're an SLUT, but that doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. I remembered what you'd say. We're all looking to be alone. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Till then, you'll still be a boy. To be alone. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Until then, we will all be yours. We'll all be poised.
Good evening, race fans, and it's Empire here with Black Flag Racing TV, and we are here at the Suzuka track in Japan, one of the iconic racing tracks across the world, and it is for this, our first race in this 10 race season. It is our staying power endurance season, 2 hours of endurance racing over many different cars, many different circuits across the world. We start here in Japan at Suzuka, 5.8 kilometers, a very, very tricky technical racetrack, 17 corners, tarmac road type, and it is not for the faint-hearted here. You've got first turn, really tricky turn 1. Bear with me, I've already got someone looking at the door. Apologies for that. Big fat bellend just knocked on my door.
What?
For some reason, the lobby seems to have gone down. I'm assuming that's a problem that's going to be solved with immediate effect. Don't know what quite happened there, but we will join the lobby as soon as he gets it back, of course. Hopefully, we find out what happened very, very soon. So I'm still waiting for the lobby to be recreated. It's not back as yet, so let's wait and find out what's going on with that. It could be that he's doing a reset, or I don't know what he's doing. But as I said, we're at Suzuka, 5.8 kilometres, 3.6 miles, 17 turns, tarmac surface. Qualifying is due to start now-ish. Just waiting for the room to be rebuilt for whatever reason. I don't know what happened. Maybe I'll have a look at Discord and find out. But not a great start, is it? Not a great start. Just having a look, seeing if there's any information on Discord, because there's nothing on GT7. Yeah, apologies, I don't know what's happened. Oh, there it is. The lobby is back. It is back. Found it. Found it. Cameron, if you jump in now, you will catch qualifying. I will let them know, hang on. I should probably let everyone know that someone else is coming. Hold the line, caller. Talk amongst yourselves. Right, okay. Don't know what happened there. Cameron, join. So search for groups with friends. So if you go into the multiplayer lobby, search for groups with friends, and then you'll find it's all GT7 Endurance Cup. I'm in it. I can get them to hold on for a minute, but you have to be quick, mate. Right, they have already started qualifying, Cameron. You can jump in, but you're going to have to start from the back, mate. So, quali is underway. Let's get in the room and... there we go. Right. So, if you go into multiplayer, and then under lobbies, there's a little box at the top that says lobbies with friends or only lobbies with friends. If you tick that, it will make the list much shorter, and the lobby is called GT7 Endurance Cup. Because you're friends with me, you should be able to see it. Right, so qualifying has begun. We'll run down who is the big runners and riders in the group. So Wendigo in the GTR. Of course, we'll see him in action tomorrow evening with the Lithuanian National Championship. He's gone for that. I love it. I think it's probably one of the stronger cars. This Mercedes AMG, another good car in a straight line, very solid GR3 car. If you haven't got any GR3 cars, then you can't enter this week. What I would suggest, Cameron, is get a few cars together: GR3, GR4, GR1, GR2. Basically, at least one of each, and then you can jump in next to just work on getting cars. It shouldn't be too long before you pick one or two of them up. To be honest, and they're not super expensive. You pick up the 911 for $650, I think it is. Harmonist GT. He has gone for the beautiful Super Silhouette. Not sure how well that's going to do on fuel out here for 2 hours, but what a beautiful, beautiful car. I absolutely love this car. Sounds beautiful, looks beautiful, and that is something very special. I don't care anyone that thinks that square oval is a toss-up. That is just awesome. Great looking car. It's up there. TJ's gone for. He's gone for the GTR. Also, I'm loving that livery. It's very similar to the livery actually. GMAC has gone for. I thought he was going to go for a different car. He's ended up in that European Mazda as we expected. Demos is in the. That's the Lexus RCF, isn't it? That's the Lexus RCF he's gone for. Yeah. It does, to be fair, Cameron, it does take a bit of time to build up your garage, but yeah. What best to do is pick the one car that you're comfortable with and go from there. Harmonist, as we already said, he's in the Super Silhouette. Old Man Jay, I think he's also gone for the GTR, which I think is probably the most popular choice here. Kevin 77, he's gone for the F-Type Jaguar, which. As cars go, it's one of the worst GR3 cars. Certainly wouldn't have been my choice. I'm not too keen on Jaguar in this game, but very solid on fuel. Midas is in the AMG also, as is Sturpan. That's going to be a popular car. Man, Jay strictly on the side of the road. I don't know whether that's an issue with some technical issue or is it still through. There's Hardwire at Stoke Bradford. I do need to change. Christo Pravinov here, that's Hardwire. I'll let Jake know about Bandit. He's gone for the Genesis. Interesting choice, but we know Bandit is a bit of a specialist when it comes to endurance racing. Milkman in the GTR as well, another of the joining us this evening. That's the 12. Canados couldn't make it in the room, but here we are, 10 minutes of qualifying will take us to the race start. A bit of 5 minute break from the end of qualifying and the beginning of the race, of course. So Wendigo currently on pole. That's a 1:57.8. Very, very solid time from him to help qualify Kevin at this stage. Although there is still plenty of qualifying to be done. 400ths of a second, 500ths of a second quicker at this time. Kevin with a 1:57.853, so very little in it at this stage. Sturpan 1:58.2, that puts him on row 2. He's got Demos just 0.6 of a second behind him with a 1:58.8. 1 second back is Harmonist GT, 1:59.8, and here you can see this guy in action later this evening in the Porsche 911 for Black Flag in Division 2 of the Porsche, which will be live here from about 12:30. But after Division 1, which will be 11 PM, straight after this, funny enough. Midas in the AMG, he is joining Harmonist on row 3. That's a 1:59.9 for him. Then we're into the sub 2 minutes. Bandit heads out that group with row 4. 201.2, and Hardwire at 201.9. He's gone for the classic WRX. TJ in ninth place on row 5, 208.3. Improvement there though. He looks like he's going to got. I've seen him in practice. GMAC 210.3. He's definitely more in the tank there. Deagle's moving over to let the hot lappers through. He is a bit just behind him is Milkman with a 213.5. Sorry mate, but you can't park that there. And Old Man J is currently running with a 219.0, but he's doing much better than that. And Kevin does finally put himself on pole, 157.6. That's 1/10, nearly 2/10 quicker than Wendigo up onto that front row. Here he goes. So let's have a look on board. We're going to go on board with Giton's just about to start hot. There we go. Bandit, he's just about to start hot lap. So getting himself set up, come through the Casio chicane, which is right at the end of this race track. Bear to run you on the power straight away, heading down towards turn 1 and the dreaded S's. This is a really, really tricky part of this racetrack because you head down on this left-hand side, you're looking for that 50 metre ball, and it'll have a break, but not all the way because you still carry some speed through. And it's kind of turn 2 or the end of turn 1 really, where you scrub off the rest of the speed to get it turned in. And then it's all about throttle and little brake control to get yourself through these S's. Throttle brake, throttle brake, throttle brake. And you can do it just by sort of lifting and throttling. It's really, really good. And then you've got this big sweeping right-hander, takes you into another left-hander, and then you head up before you put your next big braking zone, which is the right-hander just at the top here. A couple of big elevation changes. It looks relatively flat. You can see here the track starts to rise from this point, and you can see that it heads up the hill under the bridge, which you will then be going over very shortly, and up to this big left-hand hairpin. Get it turned in nice and early on the power, avoid that grass. It's only a little bit rough between turns. We shouldn't have any rain today, but when it's wet, that's very, very dangerous. And then you're on the power, heading down, sweeping round this almost right-hand bend before you get to this double apex left-hander. It is classed as 2 turns, but for me, I think it's just one double apex corner. Because you're thinking about the second, the exit to the second one when you enter the first one, which is kind of unexpected. And then you head down this very, very long straight. This is where you'll see some overtakes with slipstream, but you've got to get it done before this point because you cannot go too wide through here without risk of somebody facing in the wrong direction. Then back into the Casio chicane, and it's a right and a left, and then that is your lap here at Suzuka. That simple pimple. There we go. So how are we looking in terms of who's parked up in the wrong place? So with just 9 minutes left of qualifier, sorry, 1 minute left of qualifier. This is how it looks. Kevin 77 leads away half a second quicker than Wendigo. That's a 156.9 for him. Wendigo joins him on that front row with a 57.4. Sturpan heads up row 2, 58.2 for him. He's got his Patriot teammate Demos right alongside him with a 58.8. GMAC 59.2 for him. He heads up row 3, and he's got TJ for company with a 59.333. That's half the number of the beast.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yes, so TJ is currently running 6th. Then on row 4 we've got Minus, and we've got Bandit. Minus with a 59.5, Bandit with a 59.7, and we'll see. I think we'll see Bandit there or thereabouts later. You're kind of in that sort of midfield. Best thing for you to do, Cameron, is just plough through the menu books, mate, because as you plough through them, you'll pick up the cars you need to complete the menu books. So the best way to get cars is menu books early on, and the best way to get money is circuit experience. So if you do the circuit experiences, I think each one, I think gold for each one pays like $1 million, something like that if I remember rightly. No, just evening Joe, Hannah and Harley are not racing today. That was yesterday. Harley raced in the F1 yesterday, and Hannah raced in the Porsche Cup yesterday, so no, they're not. I did see her standing next to me for ages looking, but no, they're not racing in this series. Hristo Prapanov is, he joins Bandit on row 5. That is 2 minutes dead for him, 2 minutes .3 is his fastest lap. Old Man Jay with a 2:01.1, and Milkman at the back of the pack can't see his time because he's done. So that is your qualifying done and dusted, and I do need to do a very, very quick repair job on something. So qualifying done, we are about to head into the first of 10 races in this series, which I've been looking forward to for some time actually. We've got there are trophies available for the lead cars here. So the top 3 will be getting nice little shiny trophies to commemorate their achievement. But first, they've got to win something, and it's quite simple. And the only way you can do that is by going out on track and putting the points in, putting the work in. But as we start, we need to go on, and it wouldn't be a race with Black Flag if Kevin wasn't on pole for the first race of a series. Just waiting for everyone that needs to finish to finish. It's that 3-minute countdown. It's a nightmare because you don't set 3 minutes, and there's always a potential for somebody to not finish the hot lap. But I suppose if you know the lap is 2 minutes long, you could just set it to 2.5 minutes, whatever it is. I think it's 1 minute, so you've got 3 minutes to set it. There we go, done and dusted. We move on. Right, 5-minute break for everybody because it's a 2-hour race, just to give people a chance to go for a wee, a smoke, get a drink, do whatever they need to do, essentially, that makes them happy, of course. Whatever makes them happy. And then we'll all be back, and we'll crack on with this race. I've got to say, the great thing about the endurance series we do, and anyone that watched the Mine series will know that it's anyone can win it, and there's a couple of drivers that generally kind of mix it up in the midfield, who during the endurance races really turn it on and really kind of bring their A game. TJ, for instance, we saw him in the minor event at Le Mans. 2 technical failures in the first few laps cost him 2 minutes of time, and he fought his way back and finished within 2 minutes of the eventual winner, who was Yellow Sausages that day. And he went on to actually be, I think, finished in the top 3 in that series. Some great battles with some of the top drivers as well. So fully expect to see some of the midfield guys sticking it out, particularly those that are really good at looking after fuel. Now I know Wendigo's quite good at that. Expect to see him getting involved there or thereabouts, and we are ready, of course, to start here.
Namaste, motherfucker.
Sorry, I'm playing with some buttons. I've got the Stream Deck which I've been playing with, and just trying to make sure it all works properly. So I'll be chucking in random things just to see what happens. Right, here we go. Here's the start. We will go on board with someone way back here. It's called GMAC, I think, and make sure everything is good when it starts. So one light goes out, we exit, we jump back in, we go on to GMAC as such. And we are away for this 2-hour race. Now remember, it's going to emulate a full 24-hour day-night cycle. So it's going to be very important to get your muscle memory to pick your lines. So into turn 1 we go. It looks like we're through cleanly. Indeed we are. No red flags today. So lap 1, lap 2 is about finding your rhythm, finding your little part on the racetrack, and making sure that you know exactly where your braking points are, where your lines are, because you've got to get them down, you've got to get them committed to memory, because as soon as it gets dark, those little markers you've been using on the side of the racetrack, or on the on the hoardings, or on the track itself, or on the grass, to denote your braking points, they're going to be gone. You won't be able to see them, so you're going to have to pick your point. And TJ gets a little clip there from, I think, Bandit on the way through, or did he just lose the back end? It'd be interesting to see that again. Bandit did pick up a penalty, so it looks to me like actually yes, Bandit did catch him. So he's doing absolutely sporting thing. Brilliant move there from Bandit. He waited, despite the penalty, he waited for him. Demos also waited to let someone through as well. So good to see the sportsmanship working well, and you can see that the HKRT drivers have all been practicing together. At the moment, Kevin Sturpan in the top 2. When Digo makes his way up into the 3rd, he's made that move on Sturpan. Who's that? Midas dropping down the order actually. So when Digo up into 3rd, Arminis up into 4th place, making that move on Midas side by side as they head down towards this sweeping left-hander. Whoever's in front gets the edge here, because you cannot go through here side by side, and that's Arminis GT. Arminis GT up to 4th place already. What a performance from him so far. We will periodically throughout the races, it's a times 1 performance tyres, times 12 time dilation, so it will be a slow burn on the tyres. They have to use at least 1 set of mediums and 1 set of soft compound tyres. Of course, they can pit every 5 laps if they really want to. I wouldn't advise it, but they can. And we will periodically throughout the race an update like this, which will give you an update on the tyre and fuel situation for each individual car. I need to one of my little buttons now. Loving it. I keep putting my hand on my mouse. I don't need it. So minus 1.2 seconds is the difference for him. He lost out to Wendigo and Arminis running into the 3. Now dropping into the clutches of Old Man Jay, and big shout to him for his performance in the Porsche Cup yesterday with a brilliant podium. And thank you again. I don't think I thanked you enough. Well, probably last night to Kaizen, Tyler Lansdale, who joined me in the commentary box last night. We will be rooting for you in your race, which will be Division 2 from 12:30 after promotion from Division 3. Yeah, good race last night. Did check that out. Milton running in 7th place, 1 second back from the back of Old Man Jay. There is Hardwire Hristo Bratvinov from Bulgaria. He is 3/10 up from Milton LTV, part of the Lithuanian racing team. And you can catch, actually you can catch Wendigo, you can catch Milton, you can catch Arminis, all in action tomorrow from 7:15 in the Lithuanian GR3 Championships. That's if you're not already bored of seeing Arminis here, and again in the Porsche Cup later on this evening. There is Demos running in 7th, making the move on Hristo, getting back up into 7th place and retaining that as they come in. Hristo tucked in nicely behind. Demos a little bit wide, but just holds it on the road. And TJ making big moves. That's a great move there from TJ. Just catches Demos and he just has to back out of it. But did make that move up the inside and really on a charge. He's got GMAC crawling all over the back of him in the European Mazda. Milton running in 11th place now, dropping down that order. He is 7.2 seconds back. And Bandit, after serving his penalty, and obviously letting TJ through after that race, is in 12th position. But don't rule this guy out. We know just how good he is when it comes to endurance racing.
I crashed.
You crashed! How are you coming first?
And he did indeed just crash. Don't push yourself. This is the thing, is that when things aren't going well for you, there is this kind of desire to kind of over push, and that's when you may end up making more mistakes. And I'm guilty of it all the time because I tend to be floating around the back of most of the races I'm involved in. That's mostly because the people racing is so stupid. But I find that I tend to overpush sometimes, and it makes things worse. We were talking to Tyler last night when we were doing the Porsche Cup about how consistency is so much more important than pace. That pace will always make a difference. The difference between winning and losing is always going to be how quick you are. But if you've got slightly less pace but you're consistent, it can make a difference, and that is GMAC.
I crashed.
You crashed! How are you coming fast?
Sorry about that, GMAC. Can't park that there, son. You can't park that there. And that's just exactly what I'm talking about. GMAC is one of the guys that you would expect to see running in the top 3, top 4. He's very, very quick when he puts that hammer down. But pushing too hard, making a mistake, inconsistency. And look, it's a 2-hour race. You can take your time. Pushing really hard at this stage is not going to do you any favours at all, particularly if it's going to lose you spots. Look, there is 2 hours to go, and there's plenty of time for things to change. But you don't want to pull yourself out of contention on lap 3 of a race that's got 2.5 hours of racing, or 2 hours of racing ahead of it. It just doesn't make any sense. Just calm it down. So there's our race lead up. They started, of course, on half a tank fuel level. How we got on. So there we go. There is Kevin. He's running on the medium compound size. Half a tank of fuel should take them to somewhere around, I'm thinking, the 40-minute mark-ish. We'll see in terms of performance. It may be a little push a little bit harder. He's 1.9 seconds clear of Sturpan, who's also opted to start on the medium compound tyres. And they've got up a gap of 3.2 seconds from Wendigo, the Lithuanian driver. I know this is Great Britain. That's just him. That's less Lithuanian. And there he is running in 3rd position. 1:59.6 is the hottest lap so far, and he has done it. 6.4 seconds is the gap back to Arminis on those medium tyres also. So a lot of drivers getting rid of the harder compound from the outset to make sure that they've only got the soft tyres to run. Yeah, to be fair, Cameron, we've got a really good selection. We've got guys like Kevin and Sturpan and Digo, and not races like we've got others like Avalon, Wiggy, Yellow Sausages when he comes back from injury. Those guys are super quick, and we'll chuck in great laps. Of course, PM10 Racing as well, I can't forget him. We'll chuck in lap times for fun, crazy lap times. And then you've got the kind of midfield. You've got your TJs, your Old Man James, your Midas, Arminis. You've got Cool Runnings when he comes back. He's now moved to the UK. You've got all those kind of guys that are consistently around that midfield, and then you've got me at the back. So there's always someone you can beat. And it's about finding the car that's best for you. Some of the stuff we do is obviously very car oriented. You have to have X, Y, Z car for it, but most of the time it's a free choice or a choice of a couple of different cars. Drive what you feel comfortable with. A lot of people, there are people that in the GR3s only drive the Porsche 911 because it's the car that suits them the best. But equally, there are others that drive different cars. We'll see it a lot here. I mean, Armis, he's driving the 911 later. It would be easy for him to jump in the 911 now because he's using it in the Porsche Cup, but he's chosen to drive that beautiful silhouette Nissan, which actually I think is going to be the big fuel gas. Anyway, moving on, Midas in 5th position, 2.7 seconds, 3 seconds back from Arminis, and he's running in that beautiful AMG, which is used as the safety car. It's a really beautiful drive. A little bit understeery, but if you can get your head around that, then yes, it's a very good car. 1.6 seconds back, Old Man Jay. He's got some pressure from TJ. It's GTR versus GTR. It's Dutch Belen versus a British Master. And TJ gets ahead of him this time. But Demos now trying to find a way through. Can he, with the slipstream, make that move on Old Man Jay? He knows he can't. He knows in that left-hander, you cannot go side by side in these GT cars. It's just a crazy, crazy move to try that. And he has to back out, and they'll go into Casio and maybe have a little go in the slipstream up towards turn 1. And we look from the inside the cage. That's the back of his car. We look through that wing, and that's what you can see. You can see the onrushing Demos just closing down on him, but not quite close enough. And that's very, very wide from Hardwire. So wide, in fact, that he's practically in the crowd. And we see that Milkman just drifts through in the distance there. That's a beautiful shot for the back of Jay's car. Loving it. Let's get back to Milkman. And that is the car behind him. That is the car of Risto Bradford of Hardwire, who just didn't keep it on the road into turn 1. Tricky turn, that is. Because you're not braking fully into the turn. You're kind of doing half your braking on the way in and half your braking halfway through, because just to scrub off a bit more speed as the turn gets tighter. Similar to, actually, I think it's turn 2 and 3 at China, where it just gets tighter as you get into the turn. And that's China on the GR3 course. Risto Bradford, he's on the soft compound. Actually, who else is on the soft compound? So Jay's on those soft compound tyres. He's still got Demos all over the back of him, but he's doing enough and putting the car in all the right places. Very wide there though, and that's going to let Demos through. He's got the car back under control, but lost the place in the interim there. And I would expect to see his pace improve. Well, the damage here is much better. You've got 2 options for damage, or you've got 3 options essentially for damage here. And one is you've got none. You've got light, where we've got light damage on here. So what will happen is you'll have a little bit of a performance drop, depending on what sort of damage you do. And then after a period of time, that damage will just wear its way off, and then the car will perform as it did before. It's a small minor inconvenience. And then you've got heavy damage, where once you damage the car is damaged. You cannot damage it terminally, which is a good thing, but you will have to repair the car with heavy damage on, because you're just losing too much time, too much performance. So there's that. The only way you did not finish is if you get disconnected or if you rage quit. Other than that, you can basically race to the end, which means for me, I like that a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, I like the jeopardy of F1 where you can absolutely kill your car. But here you've got damage on the car. Now, there is a sort of penalty-based system in-game, which if you ram another car off the track, we saw it early on when Bandit hit TJ, and he got a 4-second penalty. And that penalty is served at a penalty line, which when we go through it, I will show you. There is a penalty line on these tracks. Essentially, what happens when you get to that penalty line is the car slows down. So it basically, it doesn't really, it kind of puts on the anchors a little bit, but it slows you down. You cannot accelerate until the penalty is served. Different tracks, the penalties have different punishments to them, really. So, for instance, it really depends where the penalty line is. So if you look at Spa, for instance, the penalty line is right as you turn left, as you turn right into Portugal on Spa. So literally you're losing loads of time there. And Le Mans is a really horrible place. It's just as you come out of Indianapolis. Then you've got Interlagos. It is just where you come out of Juncal, and then you head round to the left-hand side towards where the pit goes, and that's where you find the penalty line there. So it can cost you more time, but it's not quite as bad penalty-wise, damage-wise, because you can continue running. The biggest git is just it can be really hard to catch up, and you don't have DRS, of course. Well, yeah, there should be. I mean, generally the rule of thumb here for red flag is that if it's being broadcast, I will call it essentially. So you keep an eye on the race at the beginning, and the broadcaster calls red flag, and the red flag will be if 3 or more cars in turn 1 get crippled, and that's generally it. Don't have it very often, but you can then just reset the grid. But I actually think, in F1, I think some of the leads should just turn off, like full damage. And Kevin having a problem. Is that another issue with his wheel? Remember, he had a problem at Monza in the GR3, a technical issue, which saw him crash out of the race and score no points, which allowed PM10 to take the lead. Now, that looks to me like that is a permanent issue. Is that for everybody? Oh, it looks like we've got a permanent lobby issue. That is everybody in the lobby. This is a big problem. Oh dear. Now I wonder, I don't think this is just, it's not me. I think this is host issue. This is one thing, Cameron, we do have an issue with now and again, is sometimes the lobbies just have a little bit of a mind fart, and it looks to me like we have one right here. So no, I think we have definitely lost everyone. I'm going to jump out very quickly and see if that does solve itself. But it looks to me that we are stricken. Deary, deary, deary me. Not what you want to see at this stage. Certainly not. Yeah. One thing with I think because the problem here is crossplay between PS4 and PS5 is that if you have PS4s in the lobby, because this is essentially a PS5 game that was dumbed down for the PS4, because it was never developed to be on the PS4. It was only developed as a PS5 game, so they had to dumb it down for PS4. Is that sometimes when you've got PS4s in the lobby, lobbies can struggle. It's getting better, but we'll see. Maybe it was just me. But we'll soon find out when I try and get in the room. Yeah, maybe it was just me and my connection with the host. We'll soon find out right now, won't we? Just logging back in now. Maybe it was my connection then. I certainly didn't get any indication of an issue with my end, but it is what it is. And we are back. Ish. Might just get all the information we need up. There we go. Right. Let's have a full rundown because we disappeared for a bit. Kevin leads the way, and it's going to be a while now before I get any lap delta time or any correct information, because according to the information I've got, it is lap 1. We know it's not lap 1, but I'm going to have to do the math and work it back. But, you know, it is what it is. Right, so Kevin leads the way from Sturpan. I can't see what the gap is. Wendigo just behind. They're starting to pull away. That's the first pit stop there from Harmonist. And that's a really, really early stop. And I'm wondering why he's going in quite so early. He certainly doesn't need to pit this early. But it may be that he has a specific strategy in mind that he's looking at. And I'm sure that involves getting rid of the medium compound tyres from the outset. So Kevin, since Harmonist is in the lead, he can't possibly be the lead, can he? I'm not sure this is the correct order because of yeah, something's gone very, very wrong here because it keeps dying around. I'm sure it will sort itself out sooner or later. But this could be a problem. The problem is if the host doesn't have a stable connection, it kind of messes with everybody else in the lobby, and the lobby struggles to find where people are on the track because of it. It's going to say G-Mac is leader, but he's not. It says Harmonist is at the back, which probably is, he's been in the pits. This makes more sense. Kevin leading the race, 0.3 of a second up from Sturpan, and he is going to be seconds up from Wendigo, if that. Wendigo, quite some way up from TJ's running now in 4th place. I don't think that's half a second by any stretch of the imagination, do you? That is a lot more than half a second. Give it a couple of laps, I think we'll be back on track. Demos is not far behind the back of TJ, and you can see him there. He's certainly going to want to try and get around. Now, Demos is doing very, very well. In terms of pace, yeah, it's just something that's not yeah, in terms of pace, Demos is one of those guys that is kind of there and thereabouts, just outside Kevin's place. So to see him not in that top 3 is a bit of a surprise, as we just see the lights start to fade here in Japan, and this is where things get mixed up a little bit. This is where you see lap times changing. This is where you'll see break points changing. This is where you'll see strategies differing a little bit, and that could be why Armitage chose to pit when he did. He wanted to get in and out of the pits before darkness descends, because he knows that that's when it's through the night that others are going to go in and get that pit stop done. Old Man Jay running in the top 6, 9.6 seconds back from Demos at the minute, and he's leading a little train out of Milkman and Risto Bradford Hardwire. And the reason he got the name Hardwire is because he used to just call Risto, and he's like, oh, that's Old Man Jay off the track, and you can't park that there, man.
I crashed.
You crashed! How are you coming fast?
Anyway, yeah, the reason he's called Hardwire is he never used to have a hardwired connection, and he used to disconnect all the time, literally every single race. He wouldn't last out in his whole race, he would disconnect. So he was ordered, he was ordered by the guy that ran it to hardwire it and to change his name to Hardwire. Old Man Jay's called Old Man Jay because he's old, he's a man, he's a Jay. Midas, Greek driver in that AMG, running in 9th place. He's on those medium compound tyres. It's going to be another. So we're on lap 11. So everything's corrected itself now for me. We're on lap 11. He is 6/10 back. Old Man Jay's got Bandit, who's a bit of a endurance master, crawling on the back of him in that Genesis. Interesting choice of car, that Genesis. It's not one I don't think anyone else but Bandit would have picked. And I actually expected to see Bandit picking something like the Black Corvette or the Mustang. I know he's very, very good with the Mustang. I think he had the top 3 in an endurance event in that Mustang at Daytona. And look at the way the lights are shining on the back of Old Man Jay's car just as it gets dark. And you know, you did touch on the quality of the graphics camera. It is mind-blowing. Some of the graphics is difficult to explain to somebody just how good the detail is. I mean, look at that. And there's some great camera shots sometimes. It's just outstanding. It's a visually stunning game. And you know, we kind of allow its faults, you know, its issues with sometimes log problems, crappy updates, and little things like that. Because when you sit back and you look, you realise just how beautiful this game is. And we have just been told it's going to be on VR, which can you imagine sitting in the cockpit of one of these cars in VR? How immersive that's going to be. It is something very, very special. Something very special. Anthony, how the bloody hell are you? I'm shame we're not racing in this, man. We had a little bit of a lobby issue where it showed me everyone off the track and stuff, but it seems to be working again now. But let's have this rundown. Kevin is in 3rd position. He hasn't pit, which means he's had a problem. We'll have a look at his lap times actually, so we'll see. 2:09.7 on lap 3, so that's lap 3, lap 12. Because obviously we had to leave the room and come back in. So that was a crash of some sort. That has promoted Sturpan to the lead of this race. Kevin does have the fastest lap with a 1:58.7 on those medium compound tyres. Sturpan 1.2 seconds clear of Wendigo. Currently leading in the BWT emblazoned Mercedes AMG beautiful car. Wendigo running behind him in the Nissan GTR monster livery, with obviously the black flag stuff on the side, Wendigo stuff on the side. He's been a big fan of mine from day one, and I love him very, very much. I want to adopt him and I don't really know, it'd be weird. Okay, so Kevin running in 3rd place, 2.9 seconds back. The top 3 are 18.1 seconds up from everybody else. But here he is. There is TJ. Had a little coming together early on with Bandit. Bandit did the right thing. He took the penalty and he gave the place back, which is, you know, hampered his race significantly. But TJ's worked his way back up the field. He's up into 4th place, just 18 seconds off the lead as the light starts to fade here in Japan, and we move into the darkness. I'm trying to think of something else. I think much more kind of Edgar Allan Poe prophetic, but we'll just go with darkness, shall we? I am not Shakespeare. There is Demos in the Lexus RCF. I love the way those brakes light up when it's when the light fades and you can see the detail. It's just phenomenal. Hardwire up to 6th place, and that's a good run for him so far. He's in that WRX. Should be looking though. I think we're looking at pit window. Will be somewhere around the half. Where are we going? Sorry, the 40, between the 40 and 50 minute mark for most drivers, depending on how hard they've been pushing the fuel. Milkman running in 7th place. He is just half a second back from Bristow. Can make a move given the opportunity. Bristow has got a mistake or two in it. We've seen it already a couple of times this race. We saw him go very, very wide into turn 1. I think it was to let Milkman through in the first instance, but he has got back ahead of him again. G-Mac's not having the greatest of races, and I've got to say, look at the state of his tyres. Look at that. If you compare them to those around him, Milton's doing okay. He's not quite as bad, but fuel-wise he's doing better. Bristow doing better, and he's also on the soft compound tyres. Remember, Demos is on the mediums. He's not really a good comparison. Midas on the mediums. Armini's on the soft. He has been in the pits. He went in nice and early. Old Man J also on the softs. He's running in 12th place at the moment, and we've on the softs. You can see just how badly that European Mazda. Long story about the European Mazda. If you don't know the story, touch it. Watch our back catalogue and you will find out. But yeah, he's Gary. Gary is very well known for being not being very miserly with his tyres and his fuel. He likes to hand that shit out and grind that shit down like it's free. So he's always good for an extra pit stop, is Gary. And in 4-stop race, this quiet, we'll stop 5 times. It's just the way of the gazza. But yes, looking pretty ropey on those tyres.
That shit is fucked up.
And there's Milton. He's made a mistake.
I crashed.
You crashed? How are you coming fast?
And yeah, so he drops down to 10th place as Midas makes his way through up into 9th. Milton will hang on with him, but a little bit too little, too late. He's not going to catch him now. Old Man J running into 12th place. Right at the back of the pack, so it looks to me that he's had lap 5 is an awful lap for a 2:16.8, so that's clearly some sort of problem there.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And yes, you're right, there ain't nobody got time for that. So Snurpan leads away 2 seconds clear of the Lithuanian driver Wendigo in the Nissan GTR. 1.6 seconds is the gap to Kevin 77, who ordinarily you would think would be running away with this race, but just hasn't been able to. He is 1.2 seconds behind Wendigo. He's in the he's got the F-Type Jag, which is a really good choice. But in terms of performance, those top 3, 22-second gap now over the rest of the pack. Was it the
Ain't nobody got time for that.
or was it the?
I crashed.
You crashed? How are you coming fast?
Which one of those happened? Was it? Which one? I'm playing with one of my new toys. The other one hasn't arrived yet, so I'm playing with the first one that's arrived. The poppadoms are in the bin because she left them. Yeah, well, they're in the bin. Right, so Wendigo next into the pits. Arminis went in already. Wendigo's probably got a couple more laps on him. But again, is it that let's get it done early, let's try a little undercut jobby, get off those medium tyres, get the tank filled up. How much actually, it'd be interesting to see how much armour this did put on. He put on quite a considerable amount of fuel, but at the moment it's an interesting race because Sturpan in the lead, and he's opening up that gap. Kevin does get right into second. Wendigo from second place went into the pits a little bit early. The first one mostly. Oh, this one.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, that's the one. So, I've got loads of them, but I've got enough spots on the thing to them. I'm going to play around with you. I'm not going to use them. I'll keep them for us. Nuggets. I'm actually going to sample the when for the video when Patrick screwed up with the flip flop incident, and when the two incidents with Paul when he spun diving up to try and nick first and Laguna Seca ended up losing the place, and when he put on the intermediate time from Jason Kevin, sample from the streams on those instances, because I think they'll be pretty darn to have as a little nugget of buttons. TJ into the top three. 23 seconds though is the gap, and it's still getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. He is on in fact he's the highest runner on the soft compound tyre. Don't have to run the mediums yet, you do have to run them at some stage though. It is an absolute requirement to run those medium tyres. But how you choose to do it is entirely down to you. I think those that have run them early, the likes of Sturpan, the likes of Kevin, Wendigo, Demos, I think Bandit didn't, Midas did, Armadis did. I think those guys have started on those medium tyres. G-Max on those medium tyres now. I think those guys are going to be in a good position because they don't have to necessarily run it again. And they can just do little short stints on the soft compound tyre, but basically fill up enough fuel so that they're, you don't want to fill up the tank because it's going to slow you down, and over the course of several laps it's going to make a difference. And I think you need to work out how, at what point does 10 laps cost you 30 seconds, and then kind of work it back from there. So there's going to be those that will fill up absolutely, that will go for really, really long stints. But I think the faster guys will not be necessarily filling to the limit. If you look at Wendigo, just over halfway point, he knows that those soft compound tyres, if you put the right kind of load through them, it's only going to last half the tank. So you're better off only filling up the fuel you need. One, because you spend less time in the pit stops, and two, because you don't want to carry around unnecessary fuel and make your car too heavy. Let's have a full rundown then as we start to head towards the first pit window for everybody. We have a few already going, but not everyone just yet. So Sturpan leads the Greek driver in that AMG Mercedes-Benz, 2.1 seconds clear of his countryman, his teammate, his mentor, and the Black Flag Special Forces Greek god of driving, that is Kevin 77 in the F-Type Jaguar. 24 seconds back is the man of the machines, and I mean that in the nicest way possible because he has a yard full of lots and lots of machines in the Netherlands that he sells to unsuspecting strangers. He basically just shoots to the bar tractor. And that's TJ. He is 24 seconds back, running in that top three. Wendigo of Lithuania in the GTR was in the top three, is now running in fourth, but has pit, remember. So when TJ goes in, it'll be interesting to see actually, because he's only 24 seconds back from TJ and from Kevin, and 1.6 from TJ. That's what 26 something seconds is difference as he puts in the fastest lap of the race, and just does the fastest first sector ever. So his intentions are clear. He is hunting down the front runners and closing that gap before they pit. And that's what you need to do. You need to make sure you're getting on it before they pit. And that's another hot sector there. So really, really turning it on. And he's already right up behind TJ. And we'll be getting some slipstream off him very, very soon. In fact, I think once they come around this big double right-hander, then he'll be picking some of that juicy slipstream up to give him a little bit of extra speed. And then hopefully he won't put it in a wall and people won't have to say to him,
I crashed.
You crashed! How are you coming fast?
yeah, cool.
That shit is fucked up.
So Wendigo running in fourth place, 11, nearly 12 seconds back is Demos. He is 11 seconds ahead of Hardwire from Bulgaria. I have to say Demos is in a very comfortable position right now. He's got no challenge around him. He hasn't got to worry about defending. He's certainly not got to worry about attacking too hard. He's still not been in the pits. Still has to go at some stage. So he will lose a bit of traction to Wendigo and TJ and Kevin and Snurpan. Remember, Wendigo's the only one of that top four so far that hasn't actually been in. Risto hasn't been in. He's running in sixth place, 18 seconds back. 2.2 seconds clear of Milkman. And he's called Milkman because he's made of pure milk. He's very, very white. He comes in this little bottle. In here, he could actually be a milkman. I don't know. But I'll tell you what is happening. Bandits in the pits. And Arminis is making a move, if he can, on Milkman LTE. And the LTE stands, of course, for trying to not only close up but find a way through. 8.1 seconds is the gap to HKRT Midas, another one of the Hellenic March racing team. The Greek drivers that have kind of linked up with both of them in recent months to create sort of 15.2 seconds to Old Man J. That's a 3.6, not for 3 seconds. Back to Gina, who has been in the pits. We knew he would. There's no way he's going to be the last one in. Surprised he wasn't the first one in, all honesty. And he's gone for the medium tyres and lots and lots and lots of fuel. Actually, that's about 4 laps. They're 11 seconds back to Bandit, who comes back out on the racing soft tyres with about 3 quarters of a tank. So Snowpan still leads the way. Kevin has closed that gap down. He's got it down to about half a second. 26.4 seconds to get back to TJ. That's the important gap because Wendigo is going to be trying to not only get around TJ, and he just has done so as they're battling it out here. But Wendigo gets ahead of TJ. It doesn't make sense for TJ to fight this at this stage. For anyone that Wendigo's already pit, that's not his battle. His battle is going to be the couple of cars behind him. So I think in this instance, stick in that slipstream, stick with him. By all means, if the opportunity comes to overtake. But don't waste too much tyre, too much fuel, too much energy trying to battle for that position because it's not the current fight. He's already pit. You're going to have to come in. He's going to sail off up the road, whatever happens. And let him see if he can close that gap on Kevin. Can he reel him in? Can he pull Snurpan in? And make a race of it towards the end? That's what you want to see. You want him to be up there with the front runners, giving them something to think about, so TJ can close the gap. But Wendigo's starting to open that up, and 158.3 is his fastest race so far. We don't get the strongest, we don't see all the new laps on his but Kevin 77 is now ahead of his teammate Sturpan. Now the question is, how much of team orders are there going to be here? Are they going to work together to continually try and open the gap? Or is it every man for himself? Now we know that in rivals, it's supposed to be a contest. but we have seen a distinct lack of teamwork and an abundance of individuality. So there's no reason why we'd expect to see it in a non-team event, but we will see. So it is 7/10 of seconds to gap back to Sturpan. Their pit window will be open in the next couple of hours, somewhere around 45 minutes, which will mean essentially they're running a two-stopper, 45 minutes, so 45 minutes, and then excuse me, shorter half-hour stint towards the end. Rundown on this complete tournament before it's jumping into points. So this is race number 1, which is the Suzuka. We move on to Spa next week, followed by St. Croix, then to the beautiful, I love it. Then on to Kyoto, and it's Kyoto is Yamagiwa and Yamagiwa first. So we get to do Wiggy's Wiggler the correct way round, and those make sense when you see the race. Then on to Fuji, followed by Alsace Village, then to the Glen, Watkins Glen, then Monza, then Trial Mountain, Daytona and Le Mans on the final weekend, and they are 3 one-hour races back to back to back with double points available at Le Mans, which will be a reverse grid. So this is the only race with qualifying. From now onwards, grid order is decided on a reverse championship order, which gives the guys the back a chance to try and win if they can. But interestingly, the last 3 races are going to be reverse championship, reverse grid. Sorry, reverse championship again. So those vying for the title will be battling out at the back of the pack in the very last race. I'm really looking forward to that. But we're still here on week 1. This is the middle of February. We're running here this until the end of April. So Kevin's got back into the lead 2.3 seconds. The gap to Wendigo back up into the top 3, of course. 22.2 seconds is that gap, but he has already been into the pits. He went in very, very early. A lot earlier than anyone would have expected. But it looks like that might work out for him, because now he can close down. Bear in mind, he was second when he came in, so at least, if he comes back at least second, then it's not been a bad decision. So Milkman into the pits, and this is the pit window opening now. TJ, he will come at the end of this lap, so just under 45 minutes is when we'll see them hit the pits. That is Demos, could probably go another lap if he wished. Arminis, he went in quite early, and he's really put some load through the soft compound tyres, as you can see right here. He's put more load through there than I think he would have liked, bearing in mind that he has already stopped, and he's not going to be long before he's going to have to do so again. I'm just adjusting in my chair. Yeah, it's not going to be long before he has to do so again, because he's really putting some crazy load. And I think that's the one downside to this car. It's a beautiful car. It sounds phenomenal. It's a dream to drive, and I love the flames that come out of the exhaust pipe. But it's just so tight. Sturpan into the pits. Wendigo back up into second place. Now, Kevin's going to have to pit in the next lap or 2, and the gap is 22 seconds. The pit loss is a lot more than that. So Sturpan comes back out of the pits, and he's gone for the medium compound tyres again. So it clearly feels that the medium compound is the best tyre for his game plan. Demos, he's still yet to pit. Again, he'll pit in the next lap or 2. think, you know, if they can hold it to lap 25, that's not going to be too shabby, because I think we're looking, in fact, well, you know, 45 minutes. I think we're probably looking at. I'm trying to do the math. I'd say 426, 30. I think 53, 54 laps there or thereabouts. It could be a little bit more than that. Maybe 55 laps. Yeah, I don't know the maths. TJ's come out of the pits. He has got back onto the soft compound tyre. He's going to run another 45-minute stint on those tyres. Clearly he managed that last time out, no reason why he shouldn't do that again. Running in 5th place, but should have gained 4th quite easily when Demos disappears off into the pits. Wendigo is back up into 2nd. He's cut that gap down to 21.2 seconds. Kevin not yet in the pits, and at the minute he's not in a position where he can do that, because he will lose track position when he dives in. Arminus GT 14.1 seconds back. He has pit already. His pit window will open again in about 15 minutes, I think. 15 to 20 minutes when their tyres just start to disappear from underneath them. Midas, he's going to pit lap 20. He doesn't pit this lap, which I suspect he might. He will definitely be pitting on lap 24 in that Mercedes AMG Patronas. Inspector Patrona.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
GMAC is running in 8th place in his Michelin man. It's nice to put a picture of me on the side of that car next to the Black Flag Racing TV. Thank you very much for that, GMAC. 12.3 seconds is the gap back to Bandit, who very sporting, caught TJ early on. And despite getting a penalty, the penalty that he would have served would have been sufficient to have dealt with that issue by itself. But did the sporting thing and gave the position back, which is absolutely what people should do. You know, we don't need to have the stewards looking at everything. You can police it yourself on the racetrack, and that's what you've done. There's no need for it to be potential student inquiry, and therefore no need to be imposing things like drive-through penalties, such like for subsequent races. Afterwards, that one, the Pepsi started for Catherine. Oh, there's a big slide from Christo.
I crashed.
You crashed? How are you coming fast?
Namaste, motherfucker.
So Christo slides that back end out. Doesn't do too much damage other than to give Milkman a little bit of impetus to get closer to him. 3.8 seconds is the gap. He's been into the pits now. Christo's been in. Bandit's been, in fact, everyone. Bar Kevin has been into pits. Old man Joe still in the back, about 34 seconds back. A little bit of racing hangover after his heroics, and of course Troopers and George and chat as well, who showed that they both showed incredible heroics for Black Flag last night in the Porsche Cup, which continues this evening. Division 1 from 11 PM on the GTChampions.com, hosted by Professor Dion Dog, Chris Ball, and then followed by Division 2 here on Black Flag Racing TV and GTChampions.com, and that'll be from 12:30. And we get to see Kaizan, who joined me on the ones and twos yesterday. Joining, we'll be racing there, and our newest member, Slipstream Racing. Hello, if you're watching, if you're there, we'll be competing at 11 PM tonight as well in Division 1, so we get to cheer him along as well. So here's the man who doesn't want to pit. We've got complete contrast there. We've got GMAC, the man who loves it in there. He loves it so much that he's got pit lanes named after him. It's the Gary Mac pit lane. It's the Gary Mac pit carriage. And then we've got Kevin, who just doesn't want to go in at all. He's saving tyres, he's saving fuel, really looking after it, and he's 18 seconds clear. But that gap has come down significantly from the 23 odd seconds previously. Now, has he been angling to try and keep the car out there and do this with a one stop? I think it's out of reach now, I really do. There's no way with the fuel he's got left he can last another 10 minutes on those on that fuel. But he can, if he can go this far on half a tank of fuel, we know that he can one stop this to the end of the race. The question is whether the soft compound tyres will hold out for him for that length of time. Yeah, there is nothing to stop him, if he so wishes, putting the medium tyres on in this next pit stop and running to the last lap and then whacking on some soft tyres. Not really the spirit of racing, but if that's what he wants to do, you are quite entitled to do that. But if you're going to do that, you might as well have a full-on two-stop strategy rather than a one-stop strategy with an additional stop, because it's still a two-stop strategy, but not a very good one. Do it the right way, man. Do it the right way. 17 and a half seconds now is the gap. I mean, obviously Kevin's game plan here is to where Wendigo. He knows Wendigo's been in the pits, and it would have been some time, 40 minutes in Wendigo went into the pits. We're now 51 minutes in, and no sign of Kevin diving in anytime soon. He's going to have to. Maybe you never know. Maybe he's forgotten, and like Road Atlanta, he's going to run out of fuel. Although if he runs out of fuel now, it's going to take significantly longer than the 3 or 4 seconds he took to trickle home on the last lap at Road Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. It's going to take days, weeks, months, maybe even years for him to get home if he runs out of fuel now. Sturpan, 16.8 seconds back from Wendigo. That's a big sizable gap. Wendigo's done a really good job of opening that gap up. But Sturpan's gone onto the medium tyres, and he's going to run another sort of 42 minute stint, which could, which in fact will see him overtake Wendigo when Wendigo goes back into the pits. Probably in about 15 or so minutes. 15, 20 minutes ish. There's Demos now comfortably fourth until he pits, which he's got to do soon. Absolutely got to do soon. There's no way he can continually stay out, is there? As Kevin goes for another lap. He does. Kevin stays out for yet another lap. So he is trying to push it as close to that 1 hour mark as he can, as is Demos. But I think we're going to see Demos pull over to this right hand side. Oh, no, we're not. He's running the same strategy as Kevin and staying out for yet another lap. I don't know why he's indicating left. You can't go that way. This is a right hand turn. You're not going to fool the car behind you with those kind of shenanigans, my friend, because
Ain't nobody got time for that.
TJ running TJ running 2.8 seconds back from Demos. He has pit, will regain that place when Demos goes in. Arminis 17.3 seconds behind him. He's going to have to pit, I imagine, in the next 10 minutes. His strategy will be slightly different, but he's in a car that's incredibly nice as well. That beautiful Skyline is a great car to look at. It's a great car to drive. It sounds beautiful, but a pig on the tyres. G to the Mac in the European Maz. There he is running in 7th place. 18.1 seconds off the back of Arminis, but will regain that when Arminis goes into the pits, which he will do, as I said, in about 10 minutes time. Midas is 5.5 seconds back from GMAC, but he is not at all comfortable, because there is Bandit trying to put all of his moves on him. He's got a whole bag full of moves. He's like, come and have a look at my new moves.
Namaste, motherfucker.
And he's looking to find a way through. Midas doing everything he can to hold him at bay. It is racing soft tyres for Bandit. It is racing medium tyres for Midas and Bandit. Really wants to get past him before Midas goes into the pit, which he will do at the end of this lap, if he's smart, because there's not enough fuel going on lap from there. but he's holding off Bandit very well. And this will be frustrating for Bandit. They want to get the move done before Midas goes in, just to give him that much bigger cushion. 20.5 seconds back. That is the man who always has the bottle. It's Milkman. He is 27.3 seconds up the road from Risto Bratvanov, who has just been lapped by Snubhead. And at the back of about 14.1 seconds back is Old Man Jade. But he is running very long, very deep into the second stint. So I wouldn't read too much into his positioning at this stage. Does Kevin pit at the end of this lap? Surely he hasn't got enough fuel to do another lap. So he rounds the last couple of corners and in he goes. Does he? Yes, he does. He pulls into the pits. Finally, here on lap 28. And I think it's going to be 50. We're not far off. It should be a 60 lap race, 58, 59 lap race. So when Digo comes through, he will take the lead of this race. And there he is in the lead. Wendigo of the Lithuanian Racing Club, part of this community here as well. We've been racing for some time, and he's demonstrated just why he's not to be sniffed at in terms of pace. Sturpad, does he come through? No, he doesn't. Kevin gets out ahead of Sturpad, so he regains second place, Kevin, but at the expense of his compatriot, his teammate, and his friend, who is named after what you do when the water is boiling.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Demos does go to the pits. Or no, he doesn't, but TJ's got past him anyway. So he's already getting to build the gap before Demos even goes in. And Demos is still staying out for yet another lap. And this could be a disaster because he's clearly going to try and do everything in his power to one-stop this race at exactly the midway point. But he could just be so short of fuel come to the end of this race. I would be very surprised if he's not in big trouble.
That shit is fucked up.
If he makes it,
That shit is fucked up.
big time. Absolutely agree with you. 15.6 seconds back is Arminus. He'll be pitting again. I think it's around 10 minutes. About 50, yeah, probably like 45 to 50 minutes before the end of the race, and then he'll obviously pit to run to the end. But for those of you who are just joining us, this is the Staying Power Endurance series. This is round one at Suzuka. We are Black Flag E-Racing. This is the first of this huge event, which actually was born off the back of a charity event for the charity Mind. We were expecting more. Cameron couldn't quite get in time, didn't have the car, but he will be with us next week, I am sure, as will be his team. And I reckon we might see the appearance from Wiki and Avalon next week as well. So we might actually, do you know what, it could be a distinct possibility that next week we're having to turn people away from the lobby, so it's going to be very much a case of, we now have more people signed up for this series than can compete in the series. We don't have enough to run 2 lobbies. In order to run 2 lobbies, we need 45 people signed up, just to account for Mr. Weeks and stuff. We're nowhere near that number, but we are in a position where it's going to be first come, first served. So it's going to be, you get on, you can sign up for the race week at any time. The race check-in is open, so you can check in to the race. Obviously, we don't recommend you do it until you're sure you can, but please do get checked in if you want to race in this series, because the opportunity is not always going to be there. Right, we are just 20 seconds away from the halfway point, and indeed my math did fail me, because it's going to be a 60 lap race here, because when you do, because math is brilliant, because basically if you double 30, which is the only which Arminus has done, and you look at the fact that we are exactly at the halfway point, or we are now, it'll be 60 laps will be the winning lap. So 16.1 seconds clear is Wendigo. and he is not one of the droids you're looking for, apparently. He's 16.1 seconds clear of Kevin 77, who held the car out nice and long, and will be, I mean, he's fueled to run to the end of this race. My concern, of course, though, will be those racing soft tyres. Can he make them last this full hour? No one yet has managed to get close to that on the soft compound tyre, which says to me that they probably won't. Now, never count this guy out. We know that he's good. We know he's very good at looking after tyres. We know he's very good at looking after fuel. And we know that he can shoot big guns from a long way away. Only one of those things has any relevance to what I'm talking about. So one of those things has no relevance to what I'm talking about. But, you know, I'd like to think I've got some understanding of the game physics of GT7. And I just can't see how, if nobody else out there can even get close to running a full, well, in fact, over an hour on the soft compound tyres, how he will be able to do so. But obviously, he will be revered and worshipped should he manage to do such crazy thing. His last lap was a 57.494, and that is the fastest lap of the race. It wasn't, as it says there, lap 22, it was on lap 30. Sturpan running 9.6 seconds back from his compatriot and his teammate in that AMG Mercedes. And then big gap, big gap. 28.5 seconds back to TJ, who's in his own little beautiful world. The beautiful world of TJ.
That shit is fucked up.
And that's basically what people say when they look inside his crazy mind. But he's demonstrating why he is a driver to be feared in this endurance series, comfortably in fourth place. And should Kevin or Wendigo or Sturpan have an error, have a coming together, make a mistake, he's there and he can pounce like a tiger on a gazelle. I'm sure the tigers and gazelles are actually in the same place in the world. But if they were, that's what will happen. Armin is GT 31 seconds back from TJ, but 9.6 clear of the grid driver and Demos LF3. That wasn't even close, was it? Oh well. There he is. As I said, 9.4 seconds back from Armin. He's 3.7 seconds clear of the man in the European Mazda, the junior to the Mac. You might recognise this guy from intro video, because I used footage of this car in the intro video. I think I built that up to be far much more than it's actually. Good evening, Jason. You're in the stream and in the race, and I'm really confused what's going. Oh, you're in the pits, that's why. That would make sense. I was like, how the fuck is he doing that when he's racing? Yeah, it's not going super well for you, is it? I don't know what the answer is. Maybe I just hope that Tristo has a massive fuck up. But it would be a star, I suppose. Yeah. To be fair, you mentioned that you had the same problem yesterday. You had problems with that, so you're desperately crying out for that Fanatec to arrive, so you can fix that problem. Yeah, it can be a bit of a nightmare getting changed down. It helps with slowing down. There's your race leader. The gap has come down a little bit. It's come down to 12.8 seconds. But he will have to pit again before the end of this race. I also think that Kevin will have to pit again because I'm not convinced that he can make those tyres. Well, look, if anybody can make them last an hour, he will. I'm just not convinced it can happen. I'm just not convinced there's enough tyre wear in it to take it to the end. But I am happy to welcome correction if you are capable of providing me with evidence to do so. And we have seen it very, very dark. And we're just coming in now to dawn, and we'll drive through the rest of the day and into daylight. And I can tell you this week is there are no significant weather events to worry about. But from here on in, random weather will be on. And we all know what happens at Spa when you select random. Yep, you've got it, folks. It either absolutely pisses it down for the entire race and makes people want to cry, or it gets crazy wet for a short period of time, and then the people that win the race are the ones that were had enough grip and foresight to put the slicks on a little bit sooner. And I wouldn't be one of those people. So looking at the back of the pack, there's Old Man Jay. He's in the pits, getting filled up with the fuel. He's having a couple of technical issues with getting the gears changed down. He's been in pits for 6 minutes, I think he's gone for a cigarette. Hristo Bratvanov, he is nearly 3 minutes off the leaders, 8.4 seconds behind Midas, who is 27.6 seconds behind of Lithuania. He's 14.5 seconds behind Agate of the Netherlands in the all-black GTR. That's a GTR. 13.89 seconds, 14 seconds, 13 seconds. Yeah, you get the picture. There's GMAC in that European Mazda, running 5.5 seconds behind LFU and Dumas LFU is. He's going to have to pit, I imagine, he only needs to hold out for about 15-20 minutes, and then he can run to the end of the tyres without having to pit again, we hope. But this is GMAC, of course, and we know that GMAC is a thing about one of the girls who lives in a bin behind the pit box, and her name is Linda. She was a showgirl. She had feathers in her hair and her dress was clean right down to her. I'm acutely aware that I've just basically invited a copyright infringement into my life. But surely the manners, the big nose manners is not going to pull that. Demos running in 6th place, 5.9 seconds behind Artemis GT. And a beautiful car and running very well. And hopefully, touch wood, he can chuck in an awesome performance to match that of Bush Troopers and Old Man Jay in the Porsche Cup. Yesterday, he's got his opportunity today in Division 2. There are no slouches in Division 2, but that doesn't mean that he can't put in a good, solid midfield performance. It's going to be difficult because you've got Roses, you've got Bipolar, you've got just moved up, you've got Kazan, HPR, all in that kind of tier. Right, if you bear with me, my dog has just been sick everywhere. I'll be back shortly. Apologise for that unexpected delay. My dog has basically unloaded its entire guts. Pretty much everywhere in the house. I can't tell you how heinous the smell was. Well, I can. It was fucking disgusting. Like, really, really bad. But it was everywhere. The hallway, fucking front room, couch, stairs. Oh, mate. Anyway, where are we? So, Kevin is 25.1 seconds clear. Wendigo's obviously been in the pits again. We'll run to the end of this race now from this point. The question mark on whether Kevin can make those tyres last. I mean, he's looking alright so far, to be fair. If we bring them up, as you can see that he's doing alright as it stands, quite nice. Oh, and I can't even tell you, I can still taste it and smell it even though it's gone. It's that bad. Right, so 24.6 seconds is the gap. Still a little question mark over whether Kevin can make those tyres last to the end, but if anyone can, I'm sure he can. The gap back to Sturpan in third place, and a good run from Wendigo in second, is 25.5 seconds back to Sturpan in the Mercedes-Benz, of course. 18.6 seconds behind is TJ, still running in fourth place. Nice solid run from him, but he will be pitting very soon. He's got a 28.1 second benefit over Demos. Demos ran very, very deep into this race in order to stop this. But again, he's in that position where I'm not entirely sure how well these tyres are going to hold out for him. 19 seconds back is G-Mac. He's going to have to pit again for tyres. Fuel-wise, it's not too bad actually. He is being lapped by, that's Kevin coming to lap him. For G-Mac being lapped, which is a very unusual scenario, to be fair. Very unusual. But this is a very, very long race. Arminus GT 13.7 seconds back from G-Mac. Arminus GT 13 seconds back from G-Mac, although he's about to take sixth place, and he does. And he's going to run to the end of this race. So G-Mac with some work to do to get back into that top six. Yeah, it has. He was turning right for a little while, but now he's turning left. Don't quite know what that's all about. Maybe it's some sort of signal to the cars around him. That is he still turning left now? Yes, he is still turning left. Yeah, he was turning right before though, so something's changed. Yeah, so G-Mac back out in 10.4 seconds to Arminus. That's the job he's got to do. So he's got essentially 35 minutes left of this race. And those 35 minutes, his job is to close down 10.5 seconds on Arminus, overtake him, and make it stick. Milkman LTU likes taking units. Skills get checked maybe? I don't know. No, I know what LTU means. It stands for different weight, of course. 21.3 seconds back from G-Mac. Should make it to the end of this race on those medium compound tyres and with the field available. Bandit 9.7 seconds back. He has got plenty of tyre, but fuel is a bit squeaky bum time. He might need to drop the fuel map a little bit in order to ensure he can make it to the end, if he doesn't want to stop again, of course. And just to give you an idea of the kind of pace, he is just coming up to lap Christo Bratvanov, who is 2 places behind him on the racetrack. There's Midas, who's running in 10th place, and he is only 15 seconds back from Bandit. And Sturpan, who is in 3rd, which is coming up to lap him. Hristo Bratmanov is just about to be lapped by Bandit, who's running only 2 places further back on the street. And Old Man Jay, he's back out on the track now. He's on lap 32, which is his 14th place. 12 laps back. Should be with the rest of the time now. Kerfuffle over this bloody dog and it's poop everywhere. So Kevin's 24.5 seconds clear. If he can make these tyres last to the end of this race, he's going to win this race. If he can't, he could find himself under pressure from Wendigo. Fuel-wise, he's doing okay. That's not the problem, I don't think. So that 24-second gap might be enough. But he won't have to stop for fuel, but he may have to stop for tyres. We'll soon see. But Wendigo's pace looking good. He's just lapping G-Mac in 7th place. Sturpan running, he's 50 seconds back now. And he is about to pit. Now with TJ, he's got a pit as well. Now what does he do? Does he pit with him? I'd suggest that's probably the better idea. And being that Sturpan is getting closer to him, so it's going to be about who's bravest now. So I have a feeling TJ needs to run the medium tyres, whereas Sturpan doesn't. That is the other little issue here, isn't it? TJ started, I think, on the soft compound tyres, and now we're in a position where he's going to have to put mediums on and try and chase down the guy in front of him for a place in the podium positions. That doesn't mean he can't do it. I just think he's giving himself quite a lot to do, and in all honesty,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
so we'll see. But they're both going to stay out for one more lap, by the looks of it, which I don't understand really. I think why? Well, if you can't go at full pelt, then why not just jump in the pits? Go for pitting on the same lap. Is going to be significantly less benefit for one or the other. Go for an undercut. Because you jump in pits early, let them go there, they can't push, you come out and you can absolutely give it some full whack, massive beans, and your tyres are up to speed and quick when you come round, when they come out and you come round, they're pitting ahead of you. So I think that might have been the best bet, but it's done now. We will move on. I don't know who you are, Carlos. I think it's GT driver. You can clearly see it's some kind of race and it's 2 hours in. Why would you join the fucking absolutely Old Man Jay is at the rear of the pack. He is closing down on the back of Midas, who is a few laps ahead of Hristo Bratmanov on lap 43. He's 1 minute 38 seconds behind Midas. To put that into perspective, they're on completely different parts of the racetrack by some significant margin. Bandit in 9th place is 14 seconds back from Altman, running to the end, but he's going to struggle for fuel. I think you need to have a little dribble for the end of this race. Milkman ahead. His issue is going to be more about keeping those tyres working for him towards the end than it is going to be about the fuel. So Sturpan goes in, TJ goes in. One's on mediums, one's on softs. One will come out on mediums, and the other one will come out on softs, but the opposite way round. And I still insist that one of these two should have gone for the undercut in that last lap and just tried to pull a special move on the other. So there we go, TJ in his box, Sturpan in his box. It's going to be about bravery with fuel. Who can put on the least amount and guarantee they can run to the end at pace. Bear in mind also that the tyre choices will be very much in play here. Sturpan on the soft compound tyre. He's ahead of TJ. Lots and lots of work for TJ to do on the medium compound tyre. Demos running in 5th place. He's still in this, you know. I think he's going to struggle tyre-wise. If he can't get this move done on TJ now, I don't think he ever will, because I think as TJ's tyres start to come towards him in terms of grip, I think Demos is going to be having to look after his tyres, and like, even if he makes the move, he's going to be under far too much pressure for it to be a worthwhile battle for him to take on, because there's still a good 30 minutes this race left for him to look after those tyres for. He's getting his shoulders up, making the move on TJ. It's up into 4th place, but they are side by side. How long can he make this stick for? TJ's got the inside line, he's not going to give it up. And Demos doesn't want to pull out, and ends up just going a little bit wide, where he's trying to hang it round the outside. But TJ just ahead does manage to hold on, and Demos has to drop in and start thinking about whether it is worth putting that much pressure on these warm tyres with so long still left to go in this race. You know, we're still looking at another 14 laps before we finish, or thereabouts anyway. Armitage GT is 30 seconds back from that battle for 4th place. Looking quite comfortable, although could potentially see the charge for G-Mac on the soft compound tyres close up on him. At the moment, G-Mac using some slipstream on the back of Wendigo, who has lapped him, but he's now looking a little bit quicker than him, so he might actually be unlapping himself soon, which is a difficult thing to do, because the Carter's lap is under no obligation to terminate for a start. But also, you can, it's not like overtaking for position at the moment. The battle is not between them two. They are going to defend for you because they don't have to let you through. Whether they want to continue that battle is up to them. I mean, personally, I think if you are, if the car behind you is unlapping themselves and you're confident that they can continue with that pace, then you might want to just let them through. The other thing, of course, here is that they are teammates, Wendigo and Armitage. And Wendigo, I would suspect, and I would expect teammates to reflect on the same, is to help your teammate out somewhat by just slowing up the charge of the guy chasing them down. Milkman LTU, 36 seconds back. Unlikely to get involved in that battle anytime soon. He's on the medium tyres. Bandit on very, very fresh medium tyres behind, but he's going to struggle a little bit with fuel. 16.2 seconds. I have a feeling he might have to stop again, and that could leave him vulnerable to Midas running in 10th place. Hristo running 11th and LBJ back in 12th. So Kevin is still in the lead, 22.6 seconds is the current lead. Looking at the tyres now, I'm wondering whether actually he might make them last just that little bit. And to be fair, if he's made these soft tyres last this amount of time, it's incredibly good race management, because the medium tyres went off a lot sooner than the 1 hour mark suggested that they would. So the fact he's managed to hold on to them is nothing short of beautiful. But that's not to say that they're still going to be holding out in 8, 9, 10 laps time when the cars are all busy side of things, and Wendigo is a hell of a lot closer potentially with the European tyres. Wendigo's lap times are around the 158, 7, 158. Kevin 159.1 was his last lap. So he is aware of his need to look after those tyres, and you can see that in the lap times. But he's got a big enough gap that he can kind of manage it at the moment. He'll have he'll have a target number, and he will say, look, I'm quite happy to let Wendigo close this gap on me until it gets to X. And when it gets to that number, that's the point at which I think Kevin will think less about the grip. I think that's how we're going to see him operate in the tail end of this race. I mean, that's how but Wendigo in a really good position to nick second place here, and still GMAC unable to lap himself and get after Armis. Wendigo not passing his teammate either, which obviously is making the job of GMAC just a little bit harder and making it take a little bit longer. Sturpan, he is 1.2 seconds, 1.1 minute to 2 seconds back. 1.20 seconds back from that battle there, and he's clearly had a problem because TJ is only 4.1 seconds behind him. The question is whether Sturpan can close the gap enough can pull a bigger gap away. I mean, he has pulled out 4.2 seconds. That's before he's done that. 159.8, 159.5. TJ with a 2-minute 0.5, so it's going to be harder for TJ. Plus he's on that time, but that it would be very easy to tailor this race to Sturpan to put some wheel on the grass, to just make a little error, and then all of a sudden this race changes dramatically. Demos running in 5th place, 10.1 seconds back from that battle. He's going to have a similar issue with tyres that I thought Kevin might. Now I'm not so sure Kevin's going to have the issue, but I'm still convinced that Demos will, because it's just looking to the stage now where those tyres are just getting to the little bit worrying stage. GMAC 17 seconds back. That could play into his hands. If those tyres of Demos do go off, then GMAC will be in a great position. He's now got around the Hobbits. That seemed to go a lot quicker than we expected. I think he kind of followed GR3 with that battle, and then made that move at the same time. And he is still following him nice and closely. So to be fair, it's helping him with fuel saving, it's helping him with tyre saving, it's helping him with slipstream and pulling him forward. So it could be that he will be able to make a really big charge at the end towards the back of the horse. Also depending on how much Wendigo pulls him closer to us as well. We've got about 20 minutes left there or thereabouts. So we are looking at about 10 laps, and they will come around to lap Old Man Joe again. He just went but he's allowed one, especially after a great performance yesterday. So GMAC again close to the back of Wendigo, but no givings this time. Armis not being able to stick with GMAC. 3 seconds is the gap to the back of GMAC, and 46 seconds is the gap behind him to Milton. So he's nice and comfortable. He's not going to worry about being caught by anybody else, but he can see that battle up ahead, and he's going to be wondering how he can get involved in that towards the end of this race. They expanded to 12 seconds back from Milton, 22 seconds ahead of Midas, and then Christo and Armand pack. So the gap's down to 20 seconds, just over 20 seconds. Wendigo still putting in the numbers. 58.9 last lap for him, outside the 2-minute mark for Kevin. He is acutely aware that the fuel and tyre situation is a little bit precarious at this stage, and he does just need to think about managing it towards the end of the race. Now, I mean, that is a big thing in endurance racing. It isn't just being able to go fast. It's being able to know when to go fast and when to look after the tyres and fuel. And at this stage of the race, he's got cars around him that potentially have more in the tank, and literally more in the tank, so more fuel, more tyres. They have the tools they have available to them are stronger and a little bit bigger. So it is going to be about properly managing the race pace at the moment. But I don't think I'd be supremely confident. I mean, however good he might be, I think to be supremely confident at this stage would be an error, and I think he needs to consider whether it's worth possibly going putting on another set of tyres, essentially. Putting on some soft tyres and just making sure, because it could potentially go horrible. We'll see. 19.6 seconds is the gap. There is about 8 laps left in this race, so it's not all done and dusted by any stretch of the imagination. We will see what we will see. Sturpan's not going to get involved in that battle for the top two, but has doubled the lead over TJ in 4th place. TJ's not really being caught at any rate of knots by Demos behind a little bit, but Demos, of course, is going to have to pit. There's no way now those tyres are going to take him to the end of this race. If he does try, he might not just lose 6th to GMAC, he might lose 7th to Arminis, and maybe even risk losing 8th to Milkman as well. So I think the sensible move now is to get in the pits, cut your losses, know that GMAC and Arminis will get through you initially. You might still be able to catch Arminis with some nice fresh tyres, but if you stay out, you are not only definitely going to be caught by the pair of them, you're going to be sort of vulnerable to Milkman and even maybe Bandit as well, if you end up crashing out and then having to go and repair or get tyres anyway. So, full rundown. We are Black Flag E-Racing. This is the Staying Power endurance tournament, which is round 1 at Suzuka. It's 2 hours of balls out racing in the GR3 cars. Of course, next week we move on. It's different cars, different track as well every week. And we move on next week. We will be at Spa. That's the 25th of February. We will be at Spa, and we will be in the GR2 cars. So essentially, you're looking at there's only about 3 or 4 cars in that class. In total, it's the Lexus, the Nissan GTR, which is a great car, that GTR, and the Honda NSX Group 2 car. So that'll be a really, really good race. So the gap now 18.5 seconds. It is ever closing. Wendigo 18.5 behind, as we just said. 1.5 minutes up from Sturpan, who has lost a little bit of time. He was 8 seconds clear of TJ. He's now 6.8 seconds. So TJ has closed a little bit. Was that more error than anything else? TJ 22 seconds clear of GMAC. GMAC has now got around Demos. Demos has gone into the pits, and he did lose that place to GMAC and to Arminis, but he's only 1 second behind Arminis. So he made the right call. Going in when he did was the right call, because if he stays out any longer, this battle with Arminis is not happening. So he's put himself in a position to make this battle happen. Love the flames coming out the side of that beautiful missile. Just it's a thing of beauty. Milton 53 seconds back from Demos. He's not catching him. 39 seconds back is Midas. He's not catching Milton. Bandit is 9.2 seconds back from Midas. And he went into the pits, and that was the right choice, my friend, because it's just giving you enough fuel now to have a little think about how you can push. 9 seconds is, it's not a super safe gap at this stage, and particularly as well, the Midas is having to move out of the way for the front runners, which is and let's put this in perspective. We've got Sturpan running in 3rd. We've got TJ hunting him down 11 seconds back. We held up by some back. There's quite a lot there. And we've got Kevin now charging down behind him in first place, but about to lap TJ. And TJ just moving off that racing line to let Kevin through. But remember, these guys both have big races themselves. Kevin is trying to make sure he stays away from Wendigo. That gap is 16 seconds. Wendigo is a minute and a half up from Sturpan, so that's a non-issue. But Sturpan is now opening up that gap to 13 seconds from TJ. So it's those back markers that have been causing the problems, and you can see just how difficult it's been. You know, when you're going around back markers, but you're also a back marker for somebody else. It gets very, very complicated. So lap 54 for Kevin for Wendigo. It's lap 53 for Sturpan and TJ, GMAC, Demos, Arminis, and then Milkman is on lap 52 along with Midas and Bandit. Lap 51 for Krishna Grafanov and Old Man J is on lap 42. Clearly had a nice little break in the middle. Just hasn't been going that well for him. But to be fair, he's all driven out after that phenomenal drive yesterday to the top of this. So there is Kevin in the lead, and we're looking at this gap getting smaller and smaller. But wondering now, has Wendigo got enough time to do it? He's certainly putting in solid times in comparison. I mean, Kevin lost a couple of seconds there to him, but I think it's all about time. I don't think he's going to have enough time to finish this race out. He's got GMAC is stuck with Wendigo now. Bear in mind that Wendigo is an entire lap ahead of GMAC, but GMAC has since caught up to the back of Wendigo after being lapped and is essentially using him as a tow rope. So Wendigo just pulling him along, pulling him through, putting him up and down the track, and potentially giving GMAC a crack at TJ. Now, it's not something I thought was going to be possible. A couple of laps ago, when we saw Sturpan and TJ jump into the pits, it wasn't something that I even considered as a potential. I was thinking, you know, TJ and Sturpan are going to have a bit of a battle. It's going to be hard for TJ because he's on the mediums. Sturpan's going to be on the softs. He's going to be able to pull away. He's got enough fuel on board, all that kind of thing. But not once was I thinking, because at the time, remember, GMAC was behind Arminis, behind Demos, and just tucked in behind Wendigo there, and finding it difficult actually to get past Arminis. But as soon as that happened, the floodgates have opened, and now we're staring at a 15-second gap between GMAC and TJ. GMAC on a charge on soft compound tyres, 10 minutes of the race left to go, and TJ getting dropped adrift by Sturpan. Now, to be fair, after what happened on lap 1, when he got clipped, and it was an unintentional clip. It was one of those things. It was worthy of the penalty that the Bandit got, but it certainly was more of a racing incident than a deliberate act. And Bandit did absolutely the right thing. Not only did he pick up the penalty, but he stopped and he let TJ through. And they were running last and second to last at the end of lap 1. But TJ knuckled down and worked his way forward. I think the only strategic error he's made was not to use the medium compound tyres earlier in the race, not to allow himself to finish on the soft compound tyres. And I think if he had done that, I think then he would be in a position to be putting some moves on the back of Sturpan. But at the moment, he just couldn't do it. They came out of the pits almost a second apart, if that. And since then, Sturpan's just been able to lay down those times on those softer compound tyres. Demos is still indicating that he's turning left. He hasn't done that for some time, apart from a couple of the left-handers. But he keeps telling us this is what he intends to do. I think he's lying. I don't think he's going to turn left. But it's nice to see someone driving a Lexus that has found the indicator that is behind it. Arminis running in 7th place. He's going to need a little break. He's got a place ahead of him in just about 2.5 hours. And there's a coming together there between Arminis and Demos. And that's Demos down in 7th. Arminis in 6th place.
I crashed.
You crashed? How are you coming fast?
And yeah, so I'm back up to 6th position. Don't know how much fisticuffs there were between them. There is no damage to Armistice's car and none to Demos. It looks like Demos just got a little bit too squirrely, a little bit too brave, and now has he's got some work to do if he wants to retain 7th position in this race.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Milkman is a minute back from Demos. It will take a few more of those mistakes from Demos to give Milkman any opportunity of nicking 7th at this stage. But he is 39 seconds clear of Midas and should, to all intents and purposes, hold on to 8th place in these last 8 minutes, 64-ish laps for him anyway. Midas is 6/10 ahead of Bandit. Bandit has really put the hammer down and closed down that gap on Midas. And I'll tell you what, this will be a great recovery from last place if he can nick this in these last 4 laps. And just coming round, and it's dark out. I think something went wrong with the time dilation because it shouldn't still be getting long. It should only have 1 daylight cycle. We appear to have had 2. I don't know what's going on there, but it is what it is. But here we go. Here is Bandit. Is he now in a position to make these moves, or has he just not fueled enough? I thought that was the case, and I'd still insist it is. I think Midas has got more fuel on board. He's in a better position. I think Bandit, he'll make the move. There's no doubt in my mind that he'll take this position. The tyres are so much better. But the problem is, how long can he hold out for fuel-wise? Because it doesn't look like he's going to have enough. And then he's going to run out. It's going to be all about the...
Namaste, motherfucker.
That shit is fucked up.
Exactly. That's exactly what I think. So we'll see now whether Bandit can A, make the move, and B, keep it. Because that's the fundamental thing. It's all well and good to catch your car. Then the next thing you've got to do is overtake them. And then once you've overtaken them, you've then got to stay ahead of them. And then the final thing you've got to do is make sure that you've got enough tyre and enough fuel to not only keep them at bay, but to make it to the end of the race. And it's so often that we see that people just haven't done that. And, they're with the eagerness to shave off a second or two through the pit window, in just leave themselves with a bit too much fuel saving, a bit too much tyre saving to do towards the end of the race, which costs them time, and then, or ultimately, they can't save enough, and then it's all over. So, another 2 seconds off. But as I said, Kevin's watching that gap, and he'll know when is the danger zone. But just getting into the realms of being worried about fuel. So, lap 58, there's going to be 3, maybe 4 laps left for Kevin. Just looking at the time, by the time he's finished this lap, and he is 25 seconds into it, it's going to be. So we've got 54:37 on the clock. So we're going to have 56 on the clock. That's 3 laps. That's lap 6. I think that takes us to lap 61. The big question is going to be, and I think this is going to be the kicker, is whether Wendigo is close enough to also do 61 laps. If they both do 60 laps, Wendigo's in a slightly better position than Kevin, fuel-wise, and tyre-wise, in terms of grip and in terms of ability to push. He's got more on board, so can make that push. I'm going to get some. I'm absolutely going to get some. I was looking for some earlier, but I couldn't find anything could be right through. It's absolutely my intention to get English. Do you speak it, motherfucker? And does he look like a bitch? And all that kind of shit. And an AK-47. And the like. Basically fill up in the tyre stream with pointless stuff like that rather than the stuff I actually need. So, there we go. That's the level that Kevin and Wendigo have put down today. He's at Sturpan in 3rd place, who is no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. He's being lapped by Kevin, and in probably a lap or two's time, we'll see Wendigo doing the same thing. Now, does this help Kevin a little bit? Because they're teammates, Kevin and Sturpan. Does Sturpan just hold Wendigo back a little bit if the charge is on? We you can just see TJ in the background there. He's closed that gap on Sturpan to 2.2 seconds. And I never thought we would see this, but Sturpan must have had but big problem. 218.8. So we'll be getting back up to speed, but does that buoy TJ a little bit? Does that give him a little bit of impetus? The impetus he really needs is to stay the hell away from GMAC, because he does not want GMAC coming anywhere near him.
That shit is fucked up.
And it would be if he got caught by GMAC at this stage. But that mistake from Sturpan, I think, will actually help him, because he's got a target he can see. It's not 15, 16 seconds up the road. It is right there where he can see it. And that will just allow him to keep pushing on, keep plodding on, and keep the hell away from GMAC, who is on some crazy truck fuel charge. Although those tyres are looking ropey. Look at the state of those. That's what I think about that. They're in a really bad state.
That shit is fucked up.
Can he make it to the end? That's the question. Right, so 12.7 seconds gap now, Kevin and Wendigo. Fuel-wise, it's looking so dodgy. Look at the state. Tyres, the tyres can probably hold on. But can the fuel? Because that doesn't look like very much at all. This is lap 59. He's about to finish here, and I think we might be lucky and just have. Yeah, it's just going to be one more lap after this point. So I think that's the one saving grace going to be for Kevin, is that Wendigo, although in a better position fuel tyre-wise, is that there should just be enough on board for him to make it home alive. But my God, does he cut this fine. And a great drive from Wendigo to not only keep up with him, but start to close the gap. TJ, he was closer, but he's starting to drop off again. He's going to rue not finishing on the soft compound tyres, I think. Because had he done that, I think third place would have been a shoo-in for him. Absolute shoo-in. In terms of pace-wise, he's been there or thereabouts, around the same sort of pace as Sturpan. And with soft tyres on at the end, he could have really brought the party. But alas, it is not to be. And Sturpan is going to take number 3. I'm a poet and I don't even know.
I crashed.
You crashed! How are you coming fast?
TJ is in 4th, GMAC in 5th. That's how I think it's going to stay. Demos in 6th place. I think that's not going to change. Just coming past his teammate Minus to lap him for the umpteenth time. Ominous GT is 24.1 seconds back from Demos. So I think we're going to start to see people finishing right about now from Soul Brother. Right, here we go. This is where we've got the finishes now. So we've got... Who's that? That is Risto. He does just make another lap. Just. Behind him, though, that's Milkman. Milkman also makes another lap. Who's not going to make one? Come on, find someone who's not going to make one. There we go. Kevin 77. He's going to finish this lap. 13.4 seconds clear. But after 2 hours of racing here at Suzuka, half hour of which I spent clearing up. Don't shit. Kevin takes the win here. Absolutely brilliant result from him. Sturpan comes home in 3rd. TJ in 4th place. Wendigo, he rounds that final corner. He crossed the line, comes home in 2nd. There's GMAC coming home in 5th place. Demos coming home with just enough fuel to make it in 6th position. Arminis will come home in 7th. Arminis in 7th place. Milkman in 8th. Bandits in 9th place. Minus in 10th. 11th is Risto dropping off. And Old Man Jay brings up the rear of the pack. So there we have it, all done and dusted. After 2 hours of racing, didn't have it all his own way for the whole race, but did manage to bring home the gold for race number 1. That's Kevin 77, 13.3 seconds clear. So he will start at the back of the pack for race number 2 next week at Spa in the GR2 cars. So thank you very much for joining me here on this fabulous race day. I'm going to update the scores now. While we're waiting for everyone to get home, let's go in here and go. Let's actually go to the correct race first. Pick a start. That's into Suzuka. Now, bear in mind, we are going to have limited space next week. If you want to get signed up for this race, you need to do so, and do so early. There is no special dispensation because you've already raced. It is first come, first served. We're not messing around with 2 lobbies. We're not messing around with, oh, well, I've raced, but he hasn't. It doesn't matter. If you sign up for the race and you want to get involved, do it. Get ticked in. It's the only way we're going to keep these lobbies full. We're not. There's no favouritism here. If you want in, tick in. Simple as. Done and dusted. There we go. Right. So we can organise this quite well, I think. Of the 13 runners, we had 1 did not start. That was Canados. But it is Kevin 77 wins from Wendigo, comfortably in 2nd place. Sturpan comes home in 3rd. Was under a bit of pressure from TJ for a while, but another solid finish from TJ to finish in 4th place. 5th place was GMAC. A couple of great overtakes from him towards the end to nick some extra points there. Demos coming home in 6th position. That's a couple of places gained from him as well. Arminis finishes in 7th with Milkman in 8th. Arminis with another race to do. Bandit in 9th place jumps in and gets straight involved in that. Bandit in 9th with Midas in 10th. Then it was Hardwire in 11th, J49 in 12th, and Canados with a did not start. Yeah, it's a nil point. Race results updated, of course. There we go. Job done. Ready to move on to next week. Updated there. Congratulations to Kevin 77 on your first win in this particular competition. Right. We are, I don't know why it says be right back. We are going to be right back, but we'll be right back at around midnight for round 5, Division 2 at Autopolis in that Porsche 911. If you want to catch all the action from Division 1, that starts in just an hour's time on GT Champions, live with your host Chris Ball. Or Presidio Dog, however you want to refer to him. You can catch up with that. I will be joining in that at some stage. I'm going to make sure I've got everything ready for myself first, and I'm going to have something to eat and play around with the shit. But all that's left to say really is thank you very much for joining me. I've been Umpire. This has been Black Flag Racing TV. It's been emotional.